What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper with the one and only Dark Knight 987, and welcome everybody to another edition of Back in Time. Tonight, me and Dark Knight 987 have two reviews to give you guys tonight. Two westerns, actually. Also, don't forget as well, later on tonight, I'm going to give you guys my reactions to the new Batman trailer, the Long Halloween trailer. Also for Loki and Black Widow. So stay tuned for that. But right now we're going to talk about these movies. The first movie that we're going to talk about is the 1993 film Tombstone. This movie was directed by George P. Cosmatos. This film stars a shitload of people. Kurt Russell is in the starring role as Wyatt Earp. Val Kilmer, Michael Biehn, Powers Booth, Robert Burke, Dana Delaney, Sam Elliott, Stephen Lang, Joanna Pacula, the late Bill Paxton, Jason Priestley, Michael Rooker, John Tenney, Billy Zane, and Charlton Heston. And
he was Carlos in Germany. Oh God! Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Michael Biehn was.
Yes, yes. Okay, I think I remember this movie. It's been a long time. I remember Kurt Russell. I remember. Okay. Now I remember this movie. Okay, it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
So we're gonna talk about this movie. My dad, I used to watch this a lot with my dad when I was a kid. Why this movie got so much hate? Later on in life, I have no idea why. It was a financial success. It was saying that it was generally positive. I doubt that very much. Well, because I hear people say that this movie was either... I hear mixed feelings about this movie sometimes whenever I'm on YouTube. From people saying, oh, this movie was shit and blah, 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 and all this other stuff, and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought this movie is really good. But oh, by the way, if you have not seen this movie, which I'm fucking surprised you haven't, go watch this either online or pick it up on DVD or something like that.
Yeah. And
then come back, because there's going to be a whole shitload of spoilers. We're going to talk about this and stuff like that. So here we go.
Yeah.
In 1879, members of an outlaw gang known to wear red sashes called the Cowboys, led by Curly Bill Brocious, ride into a Mexican town and interrupt a local police officer's wedding. They then proceed to massacre the assembled policemen in retribution for killing two of their fellow gang members. Shortly before being shot, a local priest warns them that their acts of murder and savagery will be avenged. Referencing the biblical fourth horseman. Wyatt Earp, now a retired peace officer with a notable reputation, reunites with his brothers Virgil and Morgan in Tucson, Arizona, where they venture on toward Tombstone to settle down. There, they encounter Wyatt's long-term friend, Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer, who is seeking relief in the dry climate from his worsening tuberculosis. Josephine, Marcus, and Mr. Fabian are also newly arrived with a traveling theater troupe. Meanwhile, Wyatt's common law wife, Maddie Blaylock, is becoming dependent on laudanum. Wyatt and his brothers begin to profit from a stake in a gambling emporium and saloon when they have their first encounter with the cowboys. As tensions rise, Wyatt is pressured to help rid the town of the cowboys, though he is no longer a lawman. Curly Bill begins shooting at the sky after a visit to an opium den and is told by Marshal Fred White to relinquish his firearms. Curly Bill instead shoots the marshal dead and is forcibly taken into custody by Wyatt. The arrest infuriates Ike Clanton and the other cowboys. Curly Bill stands trial but is found not guilty due to lack of witnesses. Virgil, unable to tolerate lawlessness, becomes the new marshal and imposes a weapons ban within city limits. This leads to a gunfight at the OK Corral in which Billy Clanton and the McClary brothers are killed. Virgil and Morgan are wounded, and the allegiance of the county sheriff, Johnny Behan, with the cowboys is made clear. As retribution for the cowboys' death, Wyatt's brothers are ambushed. Morgan is killed, while Virgil is left handicapped. A despondent Wyatt and his family leave Tombstone and board a train. With Ike Clanton and Frank Stillwell close behind, preparing to ambush them, Wyatt sees that his family leaves safely, and then surprises the assassins. He kills Stillwell, but lets Clanton live to send a message. And you all know what that fucking message is. Wyatt announces that he is a United States Marshal, and that he intends to kill any man he sees wearing a red sash. Wyatt, Doc, a reformed cowboy named Sherman McMasters, Texas Jack Vermillion, and Turkey Creek Jack Johnson form a posse to seek revenge. Wyatt and his posse are ambushed in a riverside forest by the cowboys. Wyatt walks into the creek, miraculously surviving the enemy fire, and kills Curly Bill along with many of his men. Curly Bill's second in command, Johnny Ringo, becomes the new head of the cowboys. When Doc's health worsens, the group is accommodated by Henry Hooker at his ranch. Ringo lures McMasters into the cowboys' clutches under the pretense of parley, and then sends a messenger dragging McMasters' corpse to tell Wyatt that he wants a showdown to end the hostilities. Wyatt agrees. Wyatt sets off for the showdown, not knowing that Doc has already arrived at the scene. Doc confronts a surprised Ringo, who is expecting Wyatt, and challenges him to a duel to finish their game, which Ringo accepts. Doc and Ringo have already had a couple of standoffs in Tombstone that were ultimately broken up. Wyatt runs when he hears a gunshot, only to encounter Doc, who has killed Ringo. They then press on to complete their task of eliminating the cowboys, although Clinton escapes their vengeance by renouncing his red sash. Yeah, because he's a fucking pussy. Doc is sent to a sanatorium in Colorado where he dies of his illness. At Doc's urging, Wyatt pursues Josephine to begin a new life, thus ending the 1993 classic Tombstone. There's some notable scenes in this movie. I want to talk about that real quick. There are some notable scenes in this movie where it's very quotable. Like, this movie is very, very, very fucking quotable. When his brothers are when he meets McMasters, Texas Jack and Turkey Creek Jack Johnson, he says something to McMasters about brothers and stuff like that. McMaster's telling him because he thinks that McMaster's is still with the Cowboys. And stuff like that. He tells him brothers to the bone. That means something. At least that meant something to me when I saw it. That means if you fuck with me, that means if you're still with them, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
That's basically it.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of notable stuff in this movie that I like. And you said that you said that you kind of sort of remember this movie.
I do actually. I remember. I think my dad or somebody watching this movie. Now I saw bits and pieces of this.
Yeah.
Because I know Kurt Russell who he was. I remember that the iconic mustache he had and how he looked at this film. So I was like, okay. So now I get what he's talking about. It's been a long time after I watched it again to refresh my memory. But I remember seeing clips of this movie that my dad too likes westerns, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually a good one, and of course it has a lot of familiar faces in it. Like I said earlier, Michael Biehn, who was, as many people may know, I know he was Kyle Reese in the first Terminator film, the very first one, a long time ago.
And we talked about the Terminator films.
Yeah, and then of course another part as well as in some of the cast, I noticed as well, Thomas Hayden Church played Billy Clanton. As you know, he's also in the third Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man as Sandman.
Yeah.
That's who that is. So, yeah, so there's a lot of familiar people that I don't know that was actually in this film a long time ago that I know now. So it's really, surprising to me. But yeah, I would, like I said, after we watch this movie again to refresh my memory, but I mean, if you guys want to watch a good Western, if you guys haven't seen this, I mean, yeah, watch it. I'm going to watch it. So, yeah, it was a good movie, because I remember bits and pieces. I remember some scenes and stuff like that, and but yeah, I could tell that my dad said this movie was a good movie. So yeah, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of notable stuff in this movie that I liked. Val Kilmer. Let's talk about Val Kilmer real quick. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday has to be the most funniest motherfucker you have ever met in your life. There's some parts in here. There's some parts in this movie with him that made me laugh my ass off. And I like Val Kilmer as an actor. We talked about when the last time we talked about a movie with Val Kilmer and it was Batman Forever.
That's right.
This was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were doing Batman, Week or Dark Knight Week, we talked about that movie.
Yeah, that was before this whole COVID-19 thing started. Yeah, it was.
And then Michael Rooker, if you don't know who that is, he was the younger brother, the older brother of Daryl in the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead. He was also Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which we'll get to.
We will.
Another day. Yeah, there's some stuff. Bill Paxton never ceases to fucking amaze me with his acting in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Him, Sam Elliott, and Kurt Russell play the Earps really, really well in this movie. If I were to pick between this and that Kevin Costner movie that came out like couple of years later, because there's a Kevin Costner movie that's based on Wyatt Earp's life as well too.
Yeah, that's right.
Called Wyatt Earp. I'd pick this over that. I think this one best depicts the fucking shit that happened at the OK Corral. And I think this one is more one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when he's in the lake. Is at the lake when Wyatt Earp and his posse are going against the Cowboys. He is in this lake. Wyatt Earp is in this lake, and he's walking. It's like the bullets aren't even touching him. When they're shooting at him, there's no bullets touching him at all. And when I was watching this movie, I was like, what? I was like, how the hell? I was like, I guess it's like God's own mercy, or something like that. But what did you think? What did you think of the movie? What did you think of the? From what you remember from Tombstone, what did you remember? What did you remember that you liked from this movie?
Well, I remember the scene that Grim talked about. That was one of the scenes that I remember when I walked in on my dad watching that, and I remember watching that particular scene too. And I'm thinking, how is this guy not dead? How are they're shooting him? You know, I never understood that part. That would have to be. I agree with Grim on that. The most memorable one that I remember too was that particular scene in that movie. But like I said, I have to go back and kind of get my brain retrained. Because like I said, I vaguely remember this movie. I've seen bits and pieces. It's just been so long. But that scene, though, that Grim said, that was a memorable one. Gosh, I need to watch this film. I really need to watch it again. Because I really have to see this movie again. Because, my gosh, so classic. This is another classic.
Yeah, I remember... and I remember falling so much in love with Dana Delaney's character, Josephine. I liked her character, and I had a crush on Dana Delaney when I was a kid. But yeah, the one person that I think that was I want to talk about Ike real quick. Ike Clanton. He's a miserable piece of shit in this movie. The son of a bitch decides he doesn't want to die, and so he turns tail and run. The bastard turns tail and run. He was the one that killed off. He was the one that killed. That helped kill. He killed Morgan. He helped kill Morgan. And not to mention the fact that he likes to talk his shit, but he doesn't want to back it up, which makes him a fucking pussy in my book. But what did you think of Ike in this movie?
Yeah, I agree with the fact that he's an asshole. Exactly. I mean, oh my gosh. But rather than face you want to turn tail and run, really? Well,
yeah.
That just makes you a coward. Or like in the Western, that makes you a yellow belly. You know what I mean? That's basically calling you, like Grim said, a pussy. That makes you calling you a coward, and that's what he was. Yeah. Oh my God, it's completely just. You had to hate him. You had to hate him.
Yeah, there was a part in this movie that I liked too, where Billy Bob Thornton's character, who is also an asshole in this fucking movie, Johnny Tyler, he was a prick in this movie. But there's this part in this movie where Johnny's playing against this other person, and he decides that he's gonna fuck him. He decides he's gonna fuck him in a card game. You know card games and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So Kurt Russell's character Wyatt Earp goes up to him and says, and smacks the dog shit out of him and says, "Bleed, motherfucker," and shit like that.
Oh.
I was laughing so fucking hard I was laughing so fucking hard at that shit because that shit is the most funniest fucking shit I've ever seen. Wyatt Earp punked this motherfucker. And plus, Johnny Tyler's a fucking punk bastard anyway. He's a punk bitch. That he can't open up his mouth. He can open up his mouth. He's just like Ike Clinton. He opens up his fucking mouth and he likes to talk his bullshit, but he can't back it up because he's a fucking cunt. Because he's a fucking cunt asshole. But yeah, that shit was fucking hilarious. That shit was fucking funny as fuck to me. But I didn't like that. There was one thing I didn't like, and that was Fred White's death. They killed this poor dude. He's a marshal, and he's trying to do his job, and they killed him off and stuff like that. And I felt bad for him and shit. But you know, that was the only thing I didn't really like. Yeah. But yeah, this movie gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Why people thought that this movie was crap is beyond me. I liked a lot of stuff from this movie. There's a lot of stuff I liked from this movie. And this movie is fucking, as I said before, it's quotable like a motherfucker. So, but yeah. But yeah. I can't think of anything else to talk about here.
It's alright.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie. From what I can remember, it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comment section down below what you guys thought of Tombstone. That's gonna be it for me. I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper. Yeah, I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 on with Dark 987. And there's been an asshole on my channel talking this bullshit on my channel. Crazy Tattoo, go fuck yourself, dude. That's all I gotta say about that. If you don't like my videos, get the fuck off, pal. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. But let us know in the comment section if you liked it, if you liked this video and shit like that. That's gonna be it for me. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 along with Dark 987, and we'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.